Wonderful people, as we are embracing huge shifts and changes on the planet due to interplanetary fusion with the origin actually of creation, which is pure electronic light infusion, and thus the repair of the planet moves along with the repair of the human kingdom and the animal kingdom. And thus it becomes very important to know how to become an animal communicator, because having the intuition, the knowledge to send out messages and receive messages is oftentimes not enough because of the distress of the planet, the traumatic abuse of the planet comes with a lot of falseness of information. But we can surpass that, and so bringing through new platforms of readjusting our own vibration, our own organism, in order to allow it to match with the organism of the earth, and the authenticity, the purity of elements will allow higher level of messaging systems to come through, in which we can communicate from spark to spark, from a human kingdom to the elements, from the human kingdom with any animal on the earth plane, because we see that there is a great need for people willing to educate themselves and becoming a communicator. Then at times it will take some effort to do the study, to do the integrations and the alignments to enable self to do so, because one has to be in an extreme level of peace, higher intuition, and also balance and harmony, and knowing, having the knowledge how to bring that in the body, but also having the knowledge how to create a space, either in the home, either outside, whenever you have to deal with animals in the wild, domestic animals, mammals, any animal or plant kingdom in the waters. So there is a lot, and everybody has perhaps their own preferences. So because we see a lot of people that are truly not able to deal with animals, be it domestic, be it wild animals in parks, or wild animals that are open in the open fields with people in the environment in many countries as well. And so we see a lot of trauma, conflict, distress between two species that actually have the same knowledge, yet the species that killed the animal kingdom, that is us, that needs some repair from within, because if you have the killer instinct in a human embodiment, that is the lowest of lowest mental, emotional body you can carry around. So, and when you eliminate that, everybody can do that, and we all have blood on our fingers, and I'm happy to see a lot of people went vegan and willing to assist the repair of the animal kingdom. Then you become as pure as possible yourself first, and that needs some alignment, some refinement in the body, especially as the earth is moving its axis and it's opening up into the higher grounds of the universe, meaning more and more living light currents are opening up that create ley lines. These ley lines create crystalline grids that are all over the planet already, and that actually have started out to squeeze the density, the negativity of the matrix out of the equation. So time spent, a lot of time spent in alignment and meditation is mandatory to achieve a high level of knowledge, because at this time, you know, we have been offered everything we need to do a particular job or an assignment, and everybody's assignment on the planet, no matter what kind of job they perform, no matter where they live, have the assignment to purify the planet and to create balanced, harmonized elements within our organism. And so the organism in the outside world will start to defeat any synthetic feeding. So if we still have all those synthetics in the brain, which we all have through birth, then we can start to eliminate them and become as pure as we can, because with it comes the open option to reconnect with massive messaging systems. There are communication systems that pertain to many levels of vibration, and so the more you refine the alignment to higher frequency, while you subtract synthetics all of the time, meaning emotions, mental barriers, distress, any traumatic experience you may have, there is always a level then that takes a few months to get out of it, not years and years and years like most do. These times are over because we can make the quick shift into living back into light electronics, and because it has become a necessity to fuse both worlds. And when we want to communicate with elements and the animal kingdom, we need to relearn how to communicate with our inner elements in the first place, meaning the water, the air that you breathe need to be purified. The earth elements we connect with through the food, to the crystal kingdoms, through whatever you fancy. Reconnecting with the origin is moving our cellular structure back into light particles and light waves. And that is the way animals see us. They see the energy fields. And oftentimes people have very dark energy fields that translate in very dark waves. They would rather reject because they act through instincts and they have the higher hearing. And some animals have a huge sight. Think of the tiger's eye, think of the black panthers, you know. That is, they hit in front viewing because they have such a high level focus. We can incorporate as well. So focus is very, very important to open up with. So and then start out purifying, installing your electrical currents in the body. So purifying the nervous system, the blood circulation, the skin, and especially the glandular construction. So moving that back into the original glands and moving back in the origin of DNA, then we move in some type of scientific knowledge. Science refuses to step into because they need proof of anything. Then they don't want to educate themselves to make the invisible worlds visible. So that is definitely a missing link, and so it would benefit a lot of doctors, physicians, and scientists working within, you know, animal rescue organizations, because I see a lot of them, you know, suffer from emotional distress, not being able to perform certain tasks, or you know, yeah, it's a very strenuous job to deal with rescued animals, knowing how to eliminate trauma, have the right communication, have the right environment for them to enable the animals to repair themselves. So light communication systems are actually electrical currents that merge your messaging system that can be installed in your brain with the messaging system of an animal that's like photonic light, you know, that matches. It's like, you know, nerves that flicker through communication, and that is actually also how we communicate with ourselves. So it's like synapses in the nervous system come together and they pass through messages. And in this case, when we move on more and more photonic light, so we call multidimensional light formation, we open up gates into higher knowledge. We open up the knowledge within the animals, and so we facilitate a higher level of communication with them, which they would feel immediately. Because if you are at peace with the animal kingdom and any animal, then they would readjust to allowing themselves to communicate what they need in order to repair. And so they need at times, you know, a lot of communicative understanding. And that is a missing link, a reason why there's so much conflict between the animal kingdom and humans, because there's not enough credit for understanding their world. And so they know somehow they moved in a very toxic society and environment, so they moved with it, came a lot of things that needed change in their brains due to the pollution of the planet. And so many animals started out to get very aggressive, which from their nature heart out they are not. And that's like a defense mechanism actually they needed to cultivate in order to bring survival through. But if we offer them the opposite, no more need for survival but assistance, like how can we put them in better environments, how can we for example create an environment, for example in rescues centers and many organizations that provide wild animals with a lot of trauma, the option to heal and to have a better life. Yet oftentimes there are missing links, like not knowing how can we purify the land they have to live in right now, or which we offer them, you know, for them to repair trauma. That is something that we could better with the purification of the land they live on, which can be done through meditational practice, which can be done through many alignments, which can be done through knowledge, which can be done through opening up the intelligence, merging with the intelligence of the animal. And so we can merge their original habitat with the habitat they have to live for the repair of their trauma. And so with it comes that the repair of trauma can go like 100,000 times quicker if we allow that. So And although I see all these organizations doing their best they can in present position on the planet, a lot more could be done. It would be interesting as well that these organizations would open up for animal communicators and educating especially people that create too much conflict, people that have domestic animals, people that deal with wild animals or any species actually. And if we can teach people how to really deal with them and we educate them, they would really open up eyes and become a compassionate co-creator on the planet instead of, you know, an aggressive defeater of anything, you know, not allowed. So there is a large distinction here, and for most people like myself or like doctors healing animals, rescuing them, and you know, they oftentimes face a very difficult bridge, and that is the bridge actually where the monsters in the masses of people continue, you know, to abuse animals. And if we can place purified crystalline grids infused with knowledge in many places where such atrocities happen, and people can learn how to do that, then I mean we would reduce animal abuse like at least 50 times over the course of 1 year. If one great animal organization would allow all their, you know, worldwide organizations in Africa, in Canada, in the United States, in Asia, so they are planted everywhere, and if just one person could teach people in every place how to do that, that would have massive impact. And so it's great if you want to become an animal communicator and educate yourself how to come whole within your own organism first, and recognizing that your authenticity, your origin is huge knowledge and huge light vibration that can upload and upgrade its vibration, matching many higher and higher frequencies, matching all universes, communicating with many planetary systems, and allowing that to ground for the animal kingdom. That brings huge healing for anything that causes distress, trauma, pain. There's so much going on. So if you are willing to do that, then try out first, you know, to space out a crystalline grid in the home, purify your home, purify yourself, and open up what is so authentic for the planet, that is the alchemy, the transformation, the transcendence from old energetic waves into purified waves. And that needs some teaching and some mastery of the elements, because if you master the elements within and in your home first, then you master the elements whenever you come in contact with the animal kingdom, and the elements will work along you, you know, like the air component, the water component, and it's like teaching self to walk on water, which is very much possible when you allow your vibration to move all the way or right there with huge purification. Because right now huge shifts and changes are happening as the planet is moving its axis into the purification and to its original position within the galaxies. then we need to move with it. And many people are not completely not prepared to do that. Many people live in a purified engine, so to speak, and many people still live in the fear syndrome. Fear should be non-existent if you want to start dealing with animals and bringing your efforts into the healing components of the animal kingdom. And that is so beautiful, so interesting. So here it's really the easiest way to start that out is with dogs. You can start out communicating internally with your dog, and I've done that for 22 years. And I never talked or brought my daughter's spoken word. Whatever I had in my brain, he would immediately react. And that is a great training also for puppies, or it is great for animal rescues institutions also worldwide to when they rescue like baby wild animals and stuff. They are still very connected in their brain waves to the origin, and when they suffered trauma, then some kind of original communication coming through when they lost their mother, so to speak. They need these extra elemental vitamins from good communication, and that helps them repair quite quickly. And so here the first program I have, if you want that, is mastering yourself back into light, and that would open up to mastering and learning to work with the elements. Well, when you clear yourself and, for example, the water within, you know how to deal with the oceans, you know how to heal the oceans. If you have a passion for dolphins, whales or so, then you know how to communicate and connect with them. So there is imperative programming to go through, and there's a lot of alignments that will surprise you. And then comes the opening space in which you have opened into, let's say, the communication systems. Your vibration would have changed, your complexion would have changed, your organism, your thought patterns would have changed, and then you can open up any communication all the way to the origin. And so when animals request something, you can hear it loud. And then it becomes interesting, because oftentimes, as in science, you know, doctors also miss out many links when it comes to healing animals that have been severely injured. And, you know, we have to think of how do they deal with it in their brains, and how can we more assist them beyond present day knowledge. And so there is a lot that we could bring back to them, like healthy herbs and the flower kingdom and things like that, that are very much unknown until now. I know we have essential oils and all these things that help, but the natural growth of these elements in the surrounding of severely traumatized animals, that would be a great asset to them, because they have a communication system with the elements. So when we take elements like, you know, herbs or essences or things we like to smell, we can also become one with an element. And so that also takes training. For example, I've asked myself which is the element I'm most connected with before being downloaded on the planet, and that was the blue cornflower, that color, you know, the blue cornflower. that, you know, that lost its way on the planet, but since a few years it's coming back. We see it everywhere now again. And we also see we can make water essences with the blue cornflower, not so immediately the oil essence within it. And so when breathing it through, becoming the blue cornflower, then a lot of information will be given by the blue cornflower that, for example, could assist in animals. So it goes a lot further. But one thing that is really interesting is if you get educated in, you know, refining your organism first with all the elements, going through the alchemy and becoming a master of the elements, then you can truly connect with all animal kingdoms and opening the practice after that, which becomes a very interesting study, because here in the alignments, if you wish to go through them, there's a lot of deep meditational alignments with the elements in which you purify yourself, you come into contact with them, and that makes you realize actually that much more deeper things are going on when dealing or communicating with animals, and allowing them their lives, or to live their lives like they have been created by the Creator. And that oftentimes is not so easy, because the environments have been killed, the natural habitat is no longer there. And so they suffer from huge inner conflict, let alone, you know, human conflict, or, you know, the abuse from humans to these kingdoms. So here that is a massive opening that I can offer, but you can definitely also start out yourself, or by simply placing a crystalline grid and start out opening your connectivity to your intuitive vibration. From intuition comes knowledge, from knowledge comes intelligence, from intelligence comes wisdom. So there's a long way to go. And intuition can be far off when the brain still functions in the lower degree of soul consciousness, so moving up into spirit consciousness and deleting what the old fractures of the soul suffered from on the planet through your birth, and you become back an authentic living light photonic vibration, and moving the cellular construction into light waves. That is what the animal kingdom understands, because they're made out of light waves, and they react to these vortexes of light in which you create and manifest, create and manifest. That is actually understanding how they function. And especially if you're, for example, very much interested in one species, study the species, study how they hear, how they see, how they act, how they react, what happened to them, study where their habitat, study where they most live, you know, and study the elements where they live, because we can assist the regrowth of elements in certain habitats that will assist them to heal out more quickly actually. So I hope this video will help you to understand these levels. If you have any questions, just shoot them through and let me know, because I love to be an animal communicator, taking care for animals. And in the first place, I've always been educating people into moving into their mastery from, you know, reorganizing their organism in the first place, which is the transcendence, transmutation in to electronic light. That's all there is to it. Thank you so much. I'm Charlotte Chi.